We are live. Welcome everybody to episode 2 of One on One. Tonight, I am going to be interviewing the cannoli eating, beer drinking, anime watching podcast rookie of the year, in my opinion, Ray freaking Rawlins.
What's up?
Good talk, Ray.
You know I do the best I can. Listen,
You are
I'm
the
gonna
rookie of the year.
I'm gonna do my best to make you nervous as hell tonight.
Hell yeah, man. Make me like I was last week with Heist, man. Defoe. The struggle's real, Heist. I know the struggle's real, man.
Yeah.
You went through that struggle. You were locked up. You had 20 kids, but you made the struggle work, man.
Good Lord.
Heist, man, you're a good nickel, man. I love you, man. I think you're going to be 2019's Rookie of the Year. Because 2018 has to go to Ray Rawlins. How are you today, Ray?
I am fantastic. You know, I just be chilling.
You be chilling?
I just be chilling.
So, is this your first ever interview, one-on-one, to find out more about the man behind the voice of the man of the voice of the voice of the man?
Oh, shit. Pretty much.
Well, didn't you do an interview with Drew before on his when he did the one-on-one thing?
I wouldn't even say it's an interview. It was more like a topical thing. It was a 30 minutes with Ray Rawlins, and you know, we just sat back, just bullshit on a couple topics.
Yeah.
Talked mostly about food and whatnot, but
hell yeah,
I wouldn't even say it was an interview.
Yeah, so that's two of our favorite topics: food and well, I guess it'd be food and food, basically. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
Ray,
pretty much.
Before we get started with this interview, I want to say happy 1 year anniversary.
Almost that time, man.
What day was it? Anyway, was it? I know it was December. Well, what day was it in December? Do you remember what?
It was. It was the day before Christmas. It was Christmas Eve. It was on a 24th.
Sunday. That's right.
BSing with BS. Oh well, no, it was called On the Record then, right?
Was it On the Record, or was it just called the Christmas episode? I don't even remember, man.
No damn clue, but it was fun. I tell you that.
It was fun, man. You made your debut. Well, you were around before that, but
no, I wasn't.
Ever calling in on the show?
No, that was first time I ever called into a show, and it's funny. I'll never forget it. Was when it was a Foul Mouths network, and Ken, man, he didn't have Filthy or Lucky with him. I think producer G wasn't even on the show with them at that point. It was just Ken. It was when Ken was just all by himself and shit. And I mean, he had Cronin on, just bullshitting with him and whatnot. But he was just basically all by his lonesome. And you know, it's funny too because I was nervous as hell, man. I wasn't even planning on calling in. Like, I was like, you know what though, Ken, man, he's a dope ass nigga. I'm finna try to call into his show. His show was gonna be the first one that I call into. And sure enough, I said, you know what? I think today's the day. And I called in because Filthy had eventually got on for a little bit. And he was telling Joe something about, like, you know, I think it was like the drugs he was doing, like acid or whatever, something like that. And
yeah, really?
Joe said something along the lines of, oh, yeah, I did that in 9th grade or whatever. Basically trying to insinuate that, like, Filthy was a pussy or whatever. You know, just basically shit talk. I was like, man, yeah, I called in. I was like, yo, man. Whoever think Joe Cronin can hang with the Filthy Mouth Gamer, man, y'all some fools, yo. That's the first time I ever called into a show, just motherfucking bullshitting with Ken and Filthy and them. So, and then that was a fun time.
I can't picture you ever being nervous, man, because everything you say always seems to come more natural than anybody I know.
But, and see, here's the trick. Here is the trick to this, man. I look at it like this, because I am a very nervous person, believe it or not. Maybe not now, just because of this whole podcasting thing. Yeah. But like, especially in sophomore year, I had to take a communications class, like an intro to speech or whatever the fuck. Basically, I had to get up in front of the class and like tell a speech and like, you know, perform and whatnot. Yeah. So, of course, everybody gets nervous when they're going up in front of like a bunch of people and, you know, they got to put on a performance of some sort. And, you know, I was one of them. But I was like, listen, man, if I want to pass this class with a decent grade and not fail it, I got to do it. We all got to do it. You know, just got to get up and do what you got to do and get past and just power through it. And that's how I passed. I think I passed with the A too. And, you know, I had to do the same thing again this past summer in college. I had to take a communications class. And of course, I was nervous as hell, but I said, you know what, man? I was already doing a freaking podcast. I was doing Highway to Friday. I was like, fuck it. You know what? It's time for me to put that podcast into work and like actually, you know, get rid of those freaking jittery butterfly like feelings and get up in front of the class and do my thuck thizzle, speak to the people like I do on this podcast. And honestly, just the number one thing is when you're podcasting, you're nervous or you're putting on a show or you're doing anything and you're nervous, just power through it, man. That's the way I do it.
That's a good way to do it too, because when I first had you on the show, man, and I heard you talk, you brought up the banana pudding, you brought up your grandma, you brought up a lot of Christmas memories, and when I heard you talking, I was telling myself, I even told the guys after the show, I told Stacy and them, that's back when we talked to Stacy, I said, you know what, this guy sounds so damn natural, man, he needs to do a show. And I know, Alex, if you're watching, I used to always say, you need to do a show. You need to do a show. Everybody needs to do a show. But yeah, when I heard Ray, I like this guy.
Had Chewbacca on that bitch. Motherfucker Chewbacca had to do a damn show.
Hell yeah, man. I said, you know what? This guy comes so natural on the air. He doesn't even sound nervous at all. Because, having you on for the first time a year ago on the Christmas Eve show, you did not sound nervous one bit. You didn't mumble. You didn't think about what to say. Everything just flowed naturally. I'm like, you know what? This guy's gonna be big on YouTube if he does it. Because talk about how did you think about doing a show or doing YouTube? Whose idea was it for you to do that?
Well,
who gave you inspirations? Yeah.
First, I'm gonna comment on your whole nervous thing. With the whole, like I said, I was nervous when I called in the Ken show for the first time, and like I said, that's the first show I even called into on YouTube. Yeah, I was watching Joe beforehand. I thought about calling into Joe's, and actually, I never did call into Joe's until this day. But I did call into Ken's. Like I said, I was even nervous back then. But the number one thing that I remembered when calling into any show is that, yo, man, you got to bring something to the table. Because I see freaking Joe and them, and even Ken, anyone who does a show and takes calls. Hell, even when I do a show, sometimes when I take calls, I'd be like, man, come on, man. Yeah, like if you're calling into a show, at least talk a little something on the topic, or if you're calling in, bring something to the table, bring the heat, as they say, And that's my number one thing.
Well, let me ask you, Ray. Do you already know what you're gonna say when you like you say you bring it to the table? Do you already have an idea what you're gonna talk about or does it just flow naturally with you?
Like when I call into a show, or even when I do a show. Mm-hmm. I kind of have a general idea of what I want to talk about. Like, at least have your main point that you want to get across and, like, think about it before you say, because if you don't, you come on rambling and babbling.
I used to be like that. Not anymore. You guys are trying to bring it back out of me, but you've always had that natural instinct about what to say and be funny and everything.
I mean, sometimes, you get flustered on your words, and that's everybody. Like me, I'm a flustering idiot sometimes. I be stuttering and shit. I swear. And it's crazy, too, when you go back and you listen to it, you probably don't sound as bad as, you think you do. Like, that happened to me a lot of times. I was like, oh, man, I fucked this up motherfucking good because I'm getting stuck on my words and shit. But
and then when you hear it, you're like, oh, that wasn't that bad.
It wasn't that bad. It's not. It's usually not. Like, and when people do shows, like, they get all nervous and shit, thinking they're going to sound terrible and whatnot. But little they know, all they got to do is put their best foot forward, do the best they can. Will it come out good? Yeah. Or can it turn out bad? Oh, hell yeah, it can. But most of the times, it's just like an artist. I remember talking to Heist one day. He said something along the lines of, man, that song I put together for the rap battle was, I didn't like it. It didn't sound that good. But that's just him being his worst critic of himself. And if you're like someone who likes to do any type of acting or podcasting or anything of the sort, any type of art form, you're gonna freaking think that way of yourself. You think you're not gonna do as good.
Then it'll
exactly.
Fuck you up in the long run. Yep.
Yeah.
That's what I've been doing for a while now.
And sometimes it's good to be, a good critic of yourself to your worst critic, but just gotta freaking, like I said, just put your best foot forward. Maybe not judge so much, but if a lot of people are saying you're doing good, then you're doing good. Mm-hmm. That's if the majority is saying you're doing bad, then you need to change something.
That's a good motto in life, not just for on here, but in the everyday life world we live in today. Yeah. Yeah,
that's what I try to live by, man.
So, Ray, let me ask you, how did you hear about me anyway in the show? Because I back in the day, I was a little more well known than I am now. But how did you hear about me and the whole Christmas thing, like, and everything?
Actually, I believe it or not, I know I told you guys this, but I freaking found you guys through I want to say Erotic Kitty, and she was used to do a show called Pillow Talk. Obviously, you know about it. Hell, you freaking produced it, and of course, you guys had your little thingy, and you stopped doing Pillow Talk and all that, and you freaking went into obscurity. I didn't know where the hell you were. I didn't know you started doing your shit on your own channel because, even today, I'm not like that great with Twitter. I try to pop on there and check everything and see whatever's going on. And you used to follow me on Twitter, like even before the whole Pillow Talk shit even got off the ground. So I knew your name from all the memes and shit. I'm like, oh, Bailey Smoke Rudolph. Yeah, I know that name. I know that name.
Yeah.
And then Stacy had came on Foul Mouths and he had said, yo, yeah, we're doing a show. Me and Bailey Smoke Rudolph, we're doing our own show. It's off the record. And I said, you know what? Okay. I need to remember to subscribe to that channel then. And I saw you had put a link out not too long ago because, like I said, I used to like you guys' Pillow Talks. I'm not even going to lie. Not for the fact that it was a good show, but shit, it gave me something to watch when there wasn't none good on TV. I mean, you guys used to go on Sunday nights, late night live and shit, just motherfucking bullshit and late night bullshit. I was like, okay, something to listen to.
Those were fun.
I'm not a big TV watcher. I'm really not. So I just like putting shit on in the background just to listen to it. Maybe if I'm laying down or whatever, or playing a video game or something, I like to have shit to listen to. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to toss this on and listen to what these motherfuckers got to say. And that's the thing. Like, I didn't know much about you as a person, of course, because you didn't do a lot of talking, but Erotic Kitty and them, they did all the talking. And Stacy was on it. I like Stacy, man. He was a cool dude. He was on it. And I said, okay, you know what? That honestly made me want to check it out because my boy Stacy was on it. But I saw you guys went live with the Christmas thing. I turned it on. First person I heard on there was Ken. I was like, oh shit, boy, what Ken doing over here? And I was listening to Ken talk, and then the show went on, and I listened to a whole bunch of other people just talking bullshit. And I said, you know what? I'm gonna try to motherfucking call into these dudes right here. Because like I said, I always used to watch you guys' shows. I'm like, all right, I'm finna call into these guys, see what's up with them, and of course, there you go. I called in, and we conversated. So
we started talking off the air, and it was fun. Man, it's like we had like a lot in common when it came. Well, with certain things we had a lot in commmen. But like you said, you're not really into TV. But you do love YouTube and the internet, so we had that in common. And we pretty much clicked from day one when we started talking, And I think it was Stacy that told you that you should start doing your own show, or was it basically you thought about it on your own? Like, you know what, I'm gonna start doing my own show. Let's do this.
Yeah, actually, when we started doing BSN and shit, and you guys actually had me on for a co-host, I was like, okay, you know what, this is pretty dope. And after the show, of course, we started talking a little bit more, and I started to freaking click with you guys a lot more. And me and Stacy actually kept talking a lot more off air and shit. And Alex came around, and we began to grow that little friendship off air. Now, I remember one night. Then this is how it all started with Highway to Friday. One night, me and Stacy were just talking bullshit and whatnot, having a good time, and he said something. He was telling me a story. I think it was about the first story he got drunk or whatever. And he was having White Castles. He had a bag of White Castles. He sat down on the curb because he said, he was like, man, I felt so damn dizzy, man. I sat down on the curb, had me a little burger. I got up. I left my White Castle on the curb. And it's just crazy, man. And I was like, yo, man, this shit fucking hilarious. Like, and he suggested, maybe we should start our own show. And I was like, oh shit, what is it gonna be called? And then somehow we came up with the name Highway to Friday.
Do you remember how you came up with that name?
I honestly think I know Alex had something to do with it, because he got on the call, and I said something along the line. Oh, that's what it was. I said something along the lines of you look like a Monday or what? Or no. I saw this video on Twitter from Plies. You know who Plies is, right?
What is that?
He's a rapper. So
he's a rapper?
Old school rapper, man. I'm surprised you don't know him. But
Plies? Okay.
Yeah. He's put something up on Twitter. He's like, man, I hate Mondays, man. He has this freaking crazy, somewhat hilarious Southern accent, man. He just had me rolling. And he's like, man, I hate Mondays. And he said something about a bitch was pissing him off. He said, bitch, you look like you got Monday pussy. You look like you got Monday pussy. And I said, you know what? I'm gonna tell that shit to somebody, yo. And then I think I told Alex, like, man, Alex, you look like a Monday, boy. Or something like that. And then he said something along the lines of, oh, you look like a Friday. And I'm like, what the fuck does a Friday look like?
Friday.
And then I try to freaking come up with like the whole freaking idea of like, say if I describe someone by a day, oh, you look like a Tuesday or a Wednesday, what they might look like. And I think I said something along the lines of like, if I look like a Friday, then Friday's a good day, boy. I'm looking good. I'm looking fresh. But long story short, I think the name derived somewhat from that, if I can remember correctly. Because we tried.
That was really unique. Highway to Friday. Nobody ever did nothing like that. Highway to the next day, basically, to the weekend.
But the premise of it too, we came on freaking 2 hours before the new day rang in for like Eastern time. There's like maybe 10 Central my time. Then we went into 12 the next day, and even for Eastern time zone people, man, it was like 11 to 1. So yeah, we were pretty much bringing in the next day. I think the only time zone it didn't work in is probably yours. But
yeah, I was kind of sad when you stopped doing Highway to Friday, but I can understand why with everything we went through. But then, I was like, you know what? Don't give up on doing a show, man. Then you came up with the Ray Rawlins radio show, and that shows you basically picked off where you left off with Highway to Friday, I think.
It's pretty much the same premise when you really think about it.
And I don't have to worry about that having to go to the next day. Yeah, that's why.
The people on the show, of course, they changed a little bit. I mean, the only person we swapped out was Stacy for pretty much Heist. Yeah. But the whole premise of us even changing the name was because I was talking to Alex. He said something along the lines of like, yeah, Highway to Friday sounds more like a party show, Your show is kind of a little bit too topical to be a party show. And I was like, you know what? I can agree with that. I can 100% agree with that. Now, I think Highway to Friday would be a freaking fantastic name of the show because we got a heist on a motherfucker and we be wilding. So
and I'm glad you kept the Highway to Friday for like special occasions like Highway to Halloween. That went well. You're going to do a Highway to Christmas, hopefully? Highway to New Year's?
Oh, yeah. I think we are. But, the main reason we changed the name was because, like, the main reason, the most important reason is if for whatever reason we got a strike, we can still keep doing the show, but we don't have to worry about it having to be up at a certain time or whatever. Like, oh, it's got to be up at Thursday, at this time. So, we could freaking be up at this time and go into the next day. Like, no, it don't matter now. Like, it could come on at any time, any day of the week.
Now, let me ask you, since it's almost a year anniversary for you basically doing this whole YouTube thing, what are things that you like and things you don't like about this whole thing, about the community, YouTube, and the whole social media thing and doing shows? Are there anything that you don't like?
I can't say there's like many things that I don't like. I mean, honestly, of course, once you start doing a show and whatnot, you want to like grow and all that. And I mean, the things that Ken and Joe and them deal with like all the drama and all the people messing with you, like, you got all these type of drama starters. Like, I don't have to deal with that necessarily. Well, I don't have to deal with that at all because I'm small.
That's a good thing.
Which is a good thing, which is a plus size. And
although you have to admit, though, some of those things help kind of boost their shows a little bit in a negative way, but it does help. And even though it's kind of sad, though, it does.
No, it does. No, and listen. I agree with you 100% because when you really think about it, everybody likes drama as long as they're not at the center of it. Everybody loves drama. Now,
it's like watching Jerry Springer or a good train wreck or getting derailed. Yeah, in the community.
Yeah, no, it is.
Shout out to Drew.
As for things I don't like, I ain't even gonna lie. Being in the community for a year, you see some snaky ass people. Honestly, you do. You see some snakery, you see some fakery, and in all honesty, backstabbing. Yeah. So if anything, that's what I don't like. That's what I don't like. That's the only thing I don't like.
And what are things that you love that you like? That you were like, it kind of shocked you. Like, you know what? This is better than I thought. Anything?
Honestly, one thing I love is getting new co-hosts for the show. And as odd as that sounds now I'm not saying I'm looking for anyone. But the thing is, like, when Heist started coming around on Derailed, and I started hearing him talk and whatnot, I'm like, yo, Heist seems like a cool motherfucker, yo. And of course, everybody knows where he came from. And the community's like, oh, sounds black to me. Like that #1 freaking line from him, yo.
Yeah, that's true.
And I was like, yo, this Heist motherfucker's hilarious. I like him. But when I heard him on Derailed, man, I was like, okay, this dude seems pretty damn cool. He seems cool as hell. So maybe I should try to get him on for a show. And eventually got him on to Highway to Halloween. And it's crazy because the day, either the day before or the day of, I was talking to Alex. I was like, man, Heist seems like a cool motherfucker. It'd be dope as hell if we had him on the show to, replace Stacy. And in a way, I was like, maybe we should ask him, but I don't want to like push it like, oh yeah, Heist, man, thanks for coming on this show. Now you want to be on, Thursday show. I don't want to be like the guy. Oh yeah, okay, let's hurry up and fill this spot. Like, I want to freaking ease him on in there. As weird as it sounds, I want to just ease him on in there, and see what he's like first. Because on Derailed, of course, a show with like maybe freaking 10 to 15 people, you're not gonna get a lot of words in edgewise. That's
kind
just
of hard
the
to showcase your talent when there's so many people on the show.
But the thing is, when we were doing Highway to Halloween, I was like, yo, this dude seems cool as hell, motherfucker, having good conversation, talking, laughing, having a good time. And somehow the question comes up. I think Alex asked him, so he's like, yo, Heist, you want to be on the Ray Rawlins radio show Thursday or whatnot? Or how about you come on the show? It was kind of like one of those little side comments like, yeah, man, you should be on the show with us. And of course, I was all for it. I freaking brought up the idea to Alex beforehand. I was like, yo, we need to get Heist on there, man. He a funny motherfucker. And, as soon as the show was over, we started talking about it more. Because I didn't think he was like 100% serious. So, of course, I asked him, like, reassure. I was like, so Heist, you want to be on, man? He's like, oh, hell yeah. He said he's down. He loves doing shows and shit with us. And, shows in general. He'll go on practically anyone's show. And I was like, yo, Heist is a cool motherfucker, man. He really is. And, of course, we had him on for episode 2, then 3, then 4, then 5. And, I just love freaking getting people on and interacting with them. Yeah. Getting to know them a lot more. And, eventually just warming up to them, starting a good friendship with them and all that good shit. That's honestly what I like. And
I know you were looking to replace Stacy for a long time, and you were thinking of ideas, but you never really got anybody else. So it was basically you and Alex for a while.
It wasn't looking to like replace Stacy. Of course, I wanted to do that because I like having like a 3-man squad.
Yeah, 3-man.
Now,
team.
Of course, you being behind the computer, managing everything, pushing all the buttons, making all the magic happen, zooming. And that's, we didn't want you on the mic because we didn't want you zoom.
I think I've been improving on that a little bit.
No, hey, you're doing a fantastic job today. I tell you that much. But I mean, Heist wasn't, honestly, when you really think about it, I don't consider Heist a Stacy replacement. Like, if anything, Heist is an addition because he added more. He adds way more than Stacy ever did, honestly. Yeah. Entertainment value and conversation value. He adds a hell of a lot more. And to be honest with you, that's the best move I ever made is to freaking get Heist on the show, man. And honestly, I don't regret it one bit. Because listen, every Thursday night on the Ray Rawlins Network, 11 p.m. Eastern, the Ray Rawlins radio show, Ray Rawlins, Alex Payne, Heistman Defoe, we gonna be wilding. That's a pretty much freaking guarantee right now. We gonna be wilding, talking
this
mad
past
shit.
Thursday was a lot of fun, man.
It was talking about Sam and the strap on.
God, you're not gonna let me forget that. Yeah, now I feel like
hell no, we ain't.
Yeah. Well, you know what? One thing I love about your show, I'm not trying to compare your show to other shows. Everybody's different. But I like how you got topics, and also you go a little bit of BSing, where like basically free roam, talk about whatever you want, be silly, and you don't complain about that. You enjoy that.
Listen, I know you don't have to hide it, man. I told Drew several times. I know what you're stabbing at. God damn it! But I'm gonna say it, motherfucking Derailed's is okay show. It's an okay show. Like, and I told Drew this a bunch of times. Like, the thing that really I can't say it drives the show down, but depending on the topic, you're gonna get a lot of freaking good or bad feedback. And I'm not saying he's getting bad feedback or not, but the one thing that, I mean, maybe in my opinion, I'm not sure about everyone else, makes it kind of boring is that, like, you have way too many people on the show, way too much talent, way too much wild pairs in a bunch to try to do a serious topic like the murder of John Benet Ramsey or Kurt Cobain. Like, people, especially people like Canadian Basement and hell, me, fucking Heist, we too wild for that shit, man. We are way too wild for that shit. I told you this numerous times. Like, and the thing with my show, and maybe because we don't have so many people on it, is that news topics are like, okay, cool, you know, we can give our little input on it, and we can just fly by it because there's only like 3 people commenting on the topic, and we just fly by. And not only that though, but our chemistry, at least in my opinion, is freaking so good.
I agree.
We could just bullshit about anything. Honestly, we can bullshit about anything and make it sound good.
And everybody on Derailed, they have their own personality, and sometimes it's not always. Sometimes it can conflict a little bit because, you know, all shows are like that when you have a lot of people.
Yeah. And that's honestly the one thing I think. I'm not, you know, of course, we're not freaking good friends with the guy. We're not friends with the guy at all. Motherfucking Stacy, when we did our show, Highway to Friday, the first couple episodes, we meshed real well together because we freaking bullshit a lot off air. Motherfucking. And honestly, and I'm not even gonna lie, back then I considered him a friend because we just motherfucking just be wilding, man. Talking, having a good conversation, all that shit. Yeah. And we used to go motherfucking at the very least 2 hours minimum, just freaking bullshitting, fucking wilding, practically no dead air. And it sounds good. Like the first 2 episodes of Highway to Friday, I think are the best episodes. Probably, I even say go up to episode maybe 4 or 5 when we actually had Alex there too. So I think those shows were freaking fantastic.
Have you ever gone back to hear some of the early shows to see how you improved or hear the differences of then and now? Or because I used to hear some of the early Pillow Talks. They're like, wow, that's totally different than what now.
You know, it's crazy because when you hear like the first episode of Highway to Friday and the last episode of the Ray Rawlins radio show, and you compare them to each other, it's kind of hard because I think the first episode of Highway to Friday was pretty damn good. I'm not even gonna lie to you. I think that shit was phenomenal. But to compare it to how the show is now with me, Alex, and Heist, entertainment value, at least in my opinion, skyrocketed tremendously. Hell yeah.
Yep, I can see it.
I think the show with me and Stacy may have been more serious, if anything, but now with Heist in the picture, taking Stacy's spot, it's more of, I want to say, a entertainment improvement. You know, we're just going wild. Yeah, we have some seriousness here and there, but I think the way that I bring up the topics and I freaking ask them questions or you know, toss out like little conversation starters, I think it's way different than how me and
you and Heist bounce off each other with a lot of topics. That's really, really entertaining, man. The way you guys bounce off each other back and forth. Because you know, Stacy back in the day, you did in the beginning, then it started changing before all the shit happened, and it wasn't really fun anymore. It got to be kind of like a job, like, you know, okay, let's do the show. Okay, we're done. Goodbye.
And it's crazy because I never felt that way about the show. I mean, granted, it probably like took the whole tone down a little bit because it did. Because I even said I wanted to take a break, and then, you know, the whole strike thing happened. It wasn't
doing that anymore. For me, even though I was just pressing the buttons, it got kind of like, because all that drama was happening. Like, you know what? I was glad you took a little break. I was hoping you would come back too, because I was getting kind of worried that you were not going to want to come back to do a show. And I'm like, oh,
well, it's crazy because when the whole strike happened, and like I said, I always enjoy doing the show. I look forward to doing it. It's just I procrastinate a lot and like find the topics and shit. That probably was like a downside to me too. But I was like, you know what? I'm ready to do a show. Like right now, I'm hyped for it. And 18 episodes in, that's a long time without taking a break. And I was doing classes and shit. I was doing summer classes for college. I was like, man, you know what? as soon as I'm finished with this class, I'm just gonna take a break, man.
You were juggling a lot between your personal life, school, and doing a show and trying to keep everything well balanced. You know, I thought you did a good job, man. And you're still doing a good job.
I did as good as I can, man. I did as good as I could. And like right now, you know what? Now that I think about it, since we're on like show topics and shit, I think another thing that kind of messes with Derail too, when I think about it, is the fact that Drew actually gives people a chance to like look at the topics and now granted, I'm not saying, you know, it's kind of like hurting the show, but one thing that I do, and I know they kind of ragged on me this for a bit, and I think it was like episode 2 or 3, was that I don't tell Alex or Heist any of the topics before the show starts. Like, and granted, maybe that's a good thing. It could be a good thing in some ways.
I think it's a good thing, actually.
It's just natural reaction.
You know why?
Especially how.
Because, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
The reactions, like I said, are natural, 100% natural. But whereas if you see a topic,
because if you know a topic what you're going to talk about, and the person already knows about it, you want to have that spontaneity. You want to have that natural, like you said, feeling about it, reaction.
Right.
To it. You don't want to just be like, okay, he's going to talk about this and this. So I already know what I'm going to say. And it's like, sounds too fucking scripted, though. You know, I hate that.
But you know what? I take that back because, like I said, the show Derailed has like maybe upwards to 10 people on the show. And granted, maybe sometimes the spontaneousness for that, you know, it's not going to be good because you're going to have a lot of people just walking over each other. So I think the planning for the most part, at least in Drew's case, definitely does help out. But like in my case where I have maybe...
It's a good show. Don't get me wrong. I miss it.
Go ahead. What?
No, I said, don't get me wrong. I missed the show. I missed doing it. And I know I didn't do it very much when I was basically there in the beginning, but I kind of miss being on there. But you know what? If you're going to go by a show called Derailed, that's just got to be basically... basically go like...
It's got to be like the Ray Rawlins radio show every Thursday night at 11 p.m. Eastern on the Ray Rawlins Network, man, with Ray Rawlins, Heistman Defoe, and Alex Payne. Listen, I'm doing what you do.
Hell yeah.
But you got to be wild, yo. You got to be uncontrolled, untamed. You got to be just freaking talking about motherfucking racism, all that shit, just going wild. Rape, all that shit. Just get wild on a damn show.
Get me back on that mug, man. I'll make it fun again.
You want me? Come on! He's gonna get you back on there. You're just not gonna show up.
I know.
It's just gotta be untamed, at least, especially for a name like that. Listen, I'm not even gonna lie. I'm not gonna lie. I was thinking about, man, you know what? Maybe it'd be fucking hilarious if I started my own show called The Train Wreck. Right? Same time slot as Drew, and motherfucking it's just me. And I would think Alex and Heist would come with me, you know, but I think it would just be me and you. Motherfucking bullshit and just going mad wild, right? And show them what Derailed really should be. Now, of course, I'm not going to do that, obviously, because of respect for Drew. I ain't going to do that. I ain't an asshole like that. But, I mean, well, maybe I will someday. But, you know, it's just, I think for a name like that, the name should be changed. Like, Derailed, it's not living up to it. But, like I was saying, though, the whole, like, show topic-wise, I think it's very beneficial for us because we're such like a small man team for a show. We can just like come up with anything. Like, okay, what's you guys' reaction for this? You guys just get them out the way. Boom, bam, bam. You know, we're not running over each other. We're not mowing each other down. You know, we don't have to do the zoom, zoom, zoom too often. Only when you talk. But
how did you come up with that?
I didn't come up with that. I didn't come up with that. That was Heist who came up with that. Motherfucker is a comedy genius, yo. Zoom, 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 zoom. I called you the Mexican lawnmower, and that's how he got that sound effect. And now that I think about it, that's not a lawnmower sound. Zoom, 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 zoom. Because I was thinking about it. It's a freaking motorcycle sound. Like, honestly, when you think about it. Zoom, zoom.
Sounds like a motor, yeah.
Yeah, it does.
So let me ask you, Ray, before we conclude this episode 2. I made it to 2 episodes, everybody. 2. I'm proud of myself. Let me ask you, what are some of your hobbies? Some of your hobbies you like to do, and some of your favorite foods you like to eat? Because I know that's one of your favorite topics, food.
Man, We can go on all day about both. You know we can. Foods, oh shit.
Yeah.
I love Italian food. Motherfucking lasagna, ravioli, like motherfucking desserts, cannolis, man. I'll fuck with some Italian food any day. Alfredo, all that shit. I love fucking Italian food. Tiramisu,
Yeah.
fucking I tried it yesterday for the first time. It's pretty decent. No complaints.
Yeah.
But hobbies. Of course, I like playing video games, watching anime. But the one hobby that I'm trying to like work into getting back into doing is writing, man. I love to write short stories, writing books and all that shit. I just love writing because it's creative process, man. It just keeps your mind going, lets you think about shit. Maybe you want to have a little place to escape reality for a bit. And, you know, writing's a good way to do that, man. You can escape reality, create a nice alternate universe or whatever, man. I just love that shit that'll make you think and keep your mind active. So.
Well, you want to eventually write your own book, correct? You talked about that before?
Oh, yeah. I mean, and that's the thing. Like I said, I'm working on it now. But when I saw Heather put out her book, it kind of, I'm not even gonna lie, it kind of inspired me a little bit. I'm like, yo, Heather freaking can pump out a book, man. I can do one too. Because I already knew the self-publishing options are out there, man. And I can take advantage of it, do all that shit. And, you know, I can have my own book, have it in a print edition, you know, ebook edition. Like, the main thing that I wanted to see, and I think will be the coolest thing in the world, is to see my own writing, like books and shit, actually in a physical form. Like, to have a book that I written in the cover that I designed, or, well, not designed, but, you know, I'll pay somebody to design a cover for me. But to have my own physical book in my hands, be like, oh man, this is a book written by Rawlins. Like, oh shit. You know, it's kind of like the feeling like that a rapper would want, or maybe that Heist would want, because he's more old school. It's like have a physical CD that, you know, he published and he made his own, like to have it in that case, to have it in the wrapping, and to tear it out the case, be like, oh man, and to pop it in the stereo, you know, to hear it for that first time, like to have a CD of his own actual music. That's kind of how I can break it down.
What kind of topics do you want to talk about in your books?
Honestly, like the main type of theme is I want it to be like a fictional story. Granted, those are, you know, a lot, nonfiction is a lot more popular because, you know, a lot of people want to hear real stories over fake stories, and which is understandable. But I like the whole idea of a fictional universe because, like I said, I watch a lot of cartoons, a lot of anime, man. I'm a big ass kid, but honestly, fictional books are the most fun to write, depending on what you do in your universe, the world that you create. It can be the most funnest book you can ever write. And trust me, man, I remember, and I'll tell you this. I started writing my first story, or my first book, senior year of high school. Mm-hmm. And I wrote a little nice book in 4th grade. I wouldn't say it's a book, but it's kind of like a series of shitty little short stories. I remember I was thinking about them the other day. I was like, man, you know, those stories were pretty stupid. But I remember senior year in high school, I want to say it's like the summertime beforehand. And I started working on a book. You know, I didn't know what I wanted to do in it 100%, but I did have idea who the central characters were supposed to be. And I kid you not, I was freaking laying in bed at like 2 a.m. looking at the TV. I was like, man, I can't fucking sleep. So I got up, hopped on my computer. I just started writing. I kid you not, chapter 1, just started writing, just jotting down ideas and somewhat trying to lay the foundation of the book and, you know, to explain who the central characters are going to be in a sense. And as the days go on, man, I'm thinking to myself, okay, you know what? Maybe this will be a good idea. This will probably make the book better. Oh, no, this will probably be a better idea for the book. And, you know, I keep going. I keep writing. And, you know, little do I know, I'm freaking putting together a story that I think is a phenomenal idea and I think is a damn good book. And you know, I remember chapter, I think it was maybe 3 or 4 I got on in the book. And I was like, man, this is a good ass story. I was so enthralled in the story myself that I just couldn't stop writing. And I was fucking writing in school. I was writing at the damn house, of course, after school and shit. Like, when the story is so compelling where the author gets drawn into it himself, man, that's how you know you're writing a good. That's how you know you're writing a good story. And like I said, fictional universes are the best. And depending on your book, you could make it the funnest book in the world, or like maybe it won't come out as good as you think. But that's when I discovered that, man, you know what? It just depends on the setting where you have your book in determines a lot, because it can tell what you gotta do in your story and all that good shit. And the number one thing that I love about writing is the fact that the author can become so enthralled in it, depending on the subject and many other factors. You know, writing can be a fun ass hobby. It can. Depending on what you're writing about. So,
yeah. Man, you know what? That's basically it, though. Yeah, one more question. Why do you hate music, Ray? No, I'm just joking.
I don't see. Listen, I don't hate music. I really don't hate music. But it's like if I told you, Bailey, why do you hate cartoons? And you probably don't watch them as often. I mean, don't get me wrong. I listen to music every morning. Yeah, I listen to music every morning. I'm just not enthralled in it as you guys are.
Well, that's fine though, man. I mean, you definitely have a lot of shit on your table though. You like anime, you like writing books. You got a lot. I don't know how you do it, Ray. You juggle everything. You're like, I know you're 21, you're real young, you got your whole life ahead of you, but how you juggle everything? And
actually, I really don't even do my hobbies, to be honest with you. Yeah. Like, for the past, ever since I've been in fucking college, man, I haven't even been watching that much anime or any cartoons of the sort. I really haven't written that much since high school. Like I said, I'm trying to get back in it. Like, all my hobbies, man, I really haven't been taking a part in, No. So the only thing I just been doing is like school and fucking YouTube. That's it. But I'm doing the best I can to juggle them now. So
you are, man. Man, this show went really good today. You love talking. You have a lot of things. Just like I enjoy doing the show with Heist, man. But that guy's hard to interview, man. I'm like, come on, Heist. Tell me some more about yourself. Nah, it's cool, man. Like,
Heist, man. Tell us about the struggle you had when you was what?
Yeah, tell us about the struggle, man. You grew up and, jeez. Yeah, but this was fun, though. Hopefully I can get somebody interesting to do episode 3. I have a few ideas. We'll see. And any closing thoughts or any closing ideas or anything, Ray, before we say goodnight?
Man, of course. Listen, check me out on the Ray Rawlins Network every Thursday night at 11 p.m. Eastern for the Ray Rawlins Radio Show. Me, Alex, and Heistman Defoe gonna be tearing it down, wilding out, showing y'all what the real Derailed should be about, baby.
There we go. Maybe I can get Drew to episode 3. There you go.
Yeah, tell him why his or ask him why his show sucks. I'm just kidding. No, I'm not. No, I am. I really am. Listen, Drew's a cool fucking cat. He really is, man. He's the first person besides you to actually have me on to do a show with. So he's a cool motherfucker.
He's a cool motherfucker. Yeah.
That's my Gatekeeper Blue.
The gatekeeper. Yeah. So hopefully I can get Alex Payne to do an interview too. But that guy's harder than. So
Heist interview is so damn bad that you just freaking cut out the series, huh?
Yeah.
You fucking bogus.
Nah, it was a good show with Heist, man. And like I said, hopefully next time we interview him, it'll be more. We did 43 reviews, so it's not too bad. Hopefully get Heist to open up a little more. Because man, like I said, he pops really good on the show on radio show. He you guys bounce back and forth, and hopefully I can get my confidence back so I can start doing more shit too. Because I miss how I used to be.
You did good today. I tell you that much.
I don't know why I get flustered. I get my anxiety. I can't do it like I used to. Maybe I'll interview myself next time.
Hey, sometimes I do. Sometimes I be getting flustered.
Yeah, but you do it in a way where you can't really tell.
I don't know about that, but yeah.
All right, everybody. This was episode 2 of One-on-One with me, BSR, and my good co-host here, Ray Rawlins. Well, not a co-host. Yeah, it was his show, man. Who it is? Oh, my body. Anyway, everybody, we will see you for episode 3. I don't know when. I don't know with who, but it'll be here sometime. So any
Tuesday night, BSN with BSR. Or no, tonight.
Every
right?
Sunday night I do a show, maybe or not. We'll see. Maybe that'll be my resolution. I'll break in the first week of 2019. What am I talking about here? Anyway, everybody, good to have you here. Hopefully you enjoy the show. Ray Rawlins, got to know the man behind the voice of the man, of the cannoli, of the Reese's Pieces. Ray freaking Rawlins. Yeah, good night, everybody. See you next time. Fuck you, Alex. Now you're a good guy. And I swear to God, Alex, before 2019, I will get you on an episode of 101. You're going to interview, find out about why you like microwave steaks and everything. So, yada. Good night, everybody.
I'ma eat your pussy. I'ma eat your pussy, Drew.
Coming soon, Trainwreck. The Trainwreck. You know, he's not like the Adam from Inspector Gadget. I'm coming to get you, Gadget.
I'ma eat Drew's pussy.
With some cheese.